There we are.
Well, hello.
Hello. What a
Oh,
day.
what a day.
Every day is a different day in the mortgage business.
That is accurate.
You never know what you're going to get, twists and turns, and who's going to call you.
Ooh, I hope a bunch of people call.
Well, I've had an interesting start to the morning, and the afternoon. So, good afternoon, everyone. This is Dante Royster, host of Epic Lunch and Learn, episode 55, double nickel in the Madison Square Garden. That's a Michael Jordan reference right there. But I am with Jess Ford.
Ayo.
Hey yo, we got some stuff to talk about. We got a lot of different topics, and I got some great stuff. I want to really jump in right away to the 50. Speaking of 55 and going with the 50, I got an interesting thing I saw on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, Jess is gonna love this. Jess is gonna
Oh,
love
we're going
this."
right for the 50. Okay.
Yeah, obviously, we want to talk about some different topics today. A lot of stuff that's going on. It's still a lot of rumor mill. Nothing has really transitioned or happened just yet. But one thing I read was, let's see, I'm just trying to find it. Oh, there we go. But yeah, so let's get into the 50-year mortgage, right? So that was the first thing conversation. Everybody's talking about the 50-year mortgage. Oh my God. And an attorney on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
wrote, he said, the advantage of a 50-year mortgage is vastly reduced monthly payment. The presumed disadvantage is the astronomical amount of additional interest incurred. Such a disadvantage is offset so long as the borrower redirects the amount saved in monthly payments to a wealth building investment such as an S&P 500 ETF with the same discipline and consistency as the mortgage payment. In 1981, an average home had a price tag of $83,000. In 1981, the average mortgage interest rate was 16.64%. If the average home buyer purchased the home using a 50-year mortgage instead of an existing 30-year mortgage, it would result in paying $565,000 worth of interest, or close to 6 times the house principal balance, aka the price of 7 of that same house.
Mm-hmm.
However, if the same average home buyer took just 33% of the monthly difference in payments and invested it each month in the S&P 500 for just 44 years, it would have resulted in $2 million, which even when we deduct the 565,000 in interest, still translates to over 1.4 million gain. Our issue is not 50-year mortgages, it's a lack of knowledge about how to grow wealth. That issue is our unwillingness to learn. Please remedy that issue as soon as possible. Thoughts, Miss Jess Ford? Is the 50-year mortgage here, and is this a good thing?
Um, I'm not a big fan. Uh, Now I do want to see how this plays out, sorta. But I'm not a huge fan, and here's why. Okay, so I've been thinking about this. I did the numbers a few times. All right, I'm thinking about who this is good for. My whole thing is be a good human. It's got to be good for humanity. It's got to be good for the population. And so, in doing my numbers, I didn't just do them with the mortgage itself, I did the numbers with the humans. So, everybody's talking about this 50-year mortgage, and I hear, yeah, lower payments, more buying power. But I'm only hearing that in the news. I'm not hearing that from our colleagues yet, these people in the industry. Everybody's talking about it, but most of these conversations are aligned around people putting 20% down. Not everybody's doing that. So, based on recent data from the National Association of Realtors, the NAR, the percentage of home buyers putting down 20% goes like this. Okay, so all home buyers overall, 15 to 18%. First time home buyers, 9%.
Wow.
Repeat home buyers, 19 to 23%. So to me, the bottom line here is that this product isn't really here to help us. The only way that capitalism can really function is if you bury the population in debt. And in 2025, the best and fastest debt to bury the population in is real estate and student loans.
It is interesting because my I love what you said yesterday. We were on the phone talking yesterday, and you said we get to the same place, but we just get there differently.
Hmm.
And I really do think that's kind of our little gel that we have going on, and because I look at it similarly as the 50-year mortgage is a play for loan officers out there that are working with clients that have, let's say, a high DTI, and
Okay.
maybe taxes pop up. If I'm in Michigan, right, we get the winter bill, or oh no, the summer bill comes out and is a little bit higher, and I have a mechanism now to potentially lower the payment to get the person qualified. So it will be used primarily to get people qualified for a mortgage if they couldn't make it on a 30-year. That really will be, if it does come out, if that was a play, that would be the strategy. I read that thing from an attorney who is looking at the 50 years as an opportunity, but I feel like a couple things that he's missing out is behavior and human condition is not math. And
Absolutely.
so the behavior and the emotion of people, that will always subside any mathematical equation that you're going to want to do. So yes, I understand. Hey, you can, it reminded me of life insurance. And I had a brief stint in life insurance, and it was all about AI Williams. And he was like, don't buy whole term insurance, buy term and invest the difference, buy term and invest the difference, take the
Hmm.
lower payment and take that money and put it in a mutual fund. But my question is always, how many people actually do that?
How many people actually do that? And I bet if we looked up the stats on it, it would be pretty low.
It is always low. So I think the flaw of the human race, the flaw of the human person, some of this ideology of saying, "Hey, this is great opportunity. We can, instead of a 30-year." And then I just did real numbers. I said, "Hey, what is a $300,000 loan? If I have it as a 30-year, if I have it as a 20-year, or excuse me, 50-year. So 30-year and as a 50-year, what's the difference?" And it was $200. It wasn't
R-
some astronomical number.
I came up with about the same thing when I looked at a 30-year comparison at 400,000 at 6%. Um and I looked at like how much you would have after each decade, after 10, 20, 30. Um and it wasn't enough to justify it. Now, don't get me wrong, if these things are like they are now and don't have any prepayment penalties, okay, maybe, right? Maybe you can use that as a strategy, hold on to it for a couple years, but and we all know that nobody is in their mortgage for their whole life. Not anymore. I'm sure that was a thing once upon a time, not anymore. Um but to stay stuck in this, depending on like what's going on in the economy and what's going on in the market. I mean, the average life expectancy for an American is only about 78.4 years. So, not to be morbid, but what, 28 years with no mortgage? That's crazy. Most people don't even have a mortgage by 28, which I'm very interested to see how lenders will respond to this because they're not stupid. Their capital markets teams are not stupid. They know that getting in these 50-year mortgages, there's no way these things are going to get paid off.
No, but I mean, and that goes to my second point. When you think about the reality, the average person stays in a house for about 7 to 10 years, and then they
Right.
move for whatever reason, whether it's a
Hmm.
job relocation, family dynamics. So the reality of you taking out a 50-year mortgage, staying there for 10 years, and virtually paying nothing but interest only, virtually just, you're
And that's
paying.
right. That's pretty much what it is.
Correct. After 10 years, you still got 40 years left. So, I mean, you're still paying kibbles and bits towards your actual principal of actually paying that thing off. So it's not realistic. And then the last final piece, we have to be careful, and especially when we start talking numbers and financial, oh yeah, in 40 years there'll be $1.4 million, but we have to remember inflation and buying power erode some of these numbers. So what may look like a big number today, 40 years from now may not be so big.
Absolutely.
What I mean? So it's one of those situations where, the debt, the capitalism thing that you said is interesting to me. Like I said, we get there indifferently. I do think the backbone of the U.S. economy is real estate, right? The
Agreed.
ripple of, the ripple effect that one transaction, one person buying a home is going to affect, Home Depot, the loan, Menards, Lowe's, whatever, little hardware store you get, is going to affect the realtors, the banker, the lender, the loan officer, the title company, the
Hmm.
mover, the plumber, the electrician, the HVAC, the
The
roofer, potentially,
inspector,
the
everybody. There's
inspector, the
so many people.
appraiser. Oh my
Yeah.
God. So, I mean, literally, we just rattled off about 12 to 15 people that will be compensated on one transaction. I can't think of a lot of businesses that have that much of a ripple effect off just one transaction. It's huge.
Right. Whether it's a 50-year, whether it's a 10-year, like
Correct.
it doesn't matter. As long as long as it is a mortgage transaction, yeah,
Correct.
there's so many people have to touch this process. And that's not even including like behind the scenes with us, the operations people to get this thing
Underwriter.
done, underwriter, processors, like those are not really hourly jobs. You get paid per file
Correct.
in most
So
cases.
so if the economy is affected that much on one transaction, it behooves anyone in office to figure out ways to always keep the flow going.
Hmm.
We always have to keep real estate going. We always have to find ways to keep it going. And so right now we have a population, probably anywhere from 40% to 60%, that are locked in to historically low interest rates, 2, 3, 4% interest rates, and they ain't budging.
No, there's
No
no
matter how
reason
many
to.
times you want to say, hey, they're not budging. They're like, hey,
No.
I guess we're just going to stay here.
Hey, thank goodness
And
for
that's
the
an
the
issue.
HELOC. The only thing they can do is make the house different, you know? So,
Correct.
yay for the
So
HELOC.
so so that's an issue from a macro perspective, right? That's my little conspiracy theory. The macro perspective is like, okay, guys, we're looking here and we're not getting enough real estate transactions occurring, world, around the country right now, because we have these people that are just stuck on these 2 to 3 and 4%, and maybe they'll never tap in or sell, and we don't. So what do? We have to recreate a whole new brand of people that,
Mhm.
maybe didn't qualify then, but now they can qualify now.
You're right, stagnation will be the death of us.
Of
And most
course.
most people think it's inflation, but stagnation, I think, is a little more dangerous.
Yes, if people aren't buying and selling, if people aren't moving to different areas and they're like, "Hey, no, I'm good with my 2%. I'm just going to ride it out. I'm going to spend the next 15, 20 years, and I ain't moving." Then that's a serious problem, because now people are going to lose jobs.
Mhm.
We already got AI taking people's jobs. Now stagnation would take your job, and then you might have a serious situation. So I feel like from a macro perspective, the government, the powers that be, are trying to figure that out, and they're trying to come up with innovative ways to maybe generate more buyers. So, we're starting to see another conversation that popped up is the conventional, right? So on conventional loans next week, there's no minimum score, and
I
so
I have thoughts about that too.
come on, Jess, bring them out.
Oh, I feel like I'm feeling like such a negative Nelly today. These these
Negative
topics are
Nancy.
these topics are just rough. Okay. So, Fannie Mae is taking away the minimum 620 score. We haven't heard about Freddie Mac, but usually Freddie follows suit. But just Fannie for right now. Okay. So we're taking away the 620, and the idea is that it will open up more opportunity for borrowers. Okay. But which ones? Like, does it? Who is it expanding for? So if you don't have a 620 credit score, there's a reason, and your credit report tells that story. So I was digging through the guidelines on this, and Fannie Mae considers certain characteristics. The underwriting system considers certain characteristics in the credit report to assess credit worthiness and risk of a borrower. Right? Okay. So those things include credit history, delinquent accounts, installment accounts, revolving accounts, public records, foreclosures, collections, how many times you've had your credit pulled. And they're weighing these to create your score, which is essentially how big of a risk you are. So, in the guidelines, a payment history that includes bills that are 30 days or more past due, and a history of paying bills late is evidence that it's going to have a negative impact on your credit profile. What I noticed was the guidelines don't say anything about how far back that they will be looking at these trade lines. They also read that borrowers with no active installment accounts, or minimal installment accounts, so let's say you're not paying on a debt every month, it's going to represent a higher risk. For those people who live on their credit cards, not just because of economical challenges, but let's just say you strategically live on your credit cards. Those using revolving accounts with higher utilization consistently are going to show as a higher risk. I
True.
just I'm not under I'm thinking about the average profile of a borrower, right? And we could probably break it down into three different buckets, but like the US is the third most populated country in the world, right?
Sure.
So there are 342 million of us as of July 1st. 267 million are over the age of 18. 43.7 million are below the poverty line. So my back to my original question is, who is it good for? It's just so loose right now. The guidelines are so very loose right now that could it be a good thing? Yeah, it absolutely could be. But it could also torpedo some dreams. It kind of depends on, it feels very subjective right now. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
It feels subjective.
it's great TikTok fodder. That's basically what it is. It's just so much noise because it looks like someone's trying to get someone's attention. Hey, great news! They're gonna reduce there's no minimum credit score. Who cares? I mean,
Right.
so
What does
it's
that mean?
funny. Yeah, I mean, so the biggest issue with that is it's the first step. It's not both steps. The first step is, okay, hey, we're going to remove that off the list. So now you could be a 580 credit score going conventional. You could be a 560 going conventional. That's cool. But here's the trick. What are the PMI companies saying?
Right. How much is that going to cost?
OMG. Right now,
Right.
PMI said, hey, we ain't budging. We ain't lending no 85, 90% LTV on a 580 credit score. Are you crazy? That's
That
what we
you
got
know what?
FHA for.
That reminds me of what you how was yesterday we were talking, maybe it was the day before. And I said, what do you mean you're not getting people qualified at 620 unconventional? Right? And
Yeah.
that was your point. Like, what PMI company is the PMI was outrageous. Do they qualify? Yeah. I get people qualified on 620 often. Are the costs outrageous? Yeah, they are.
Right.
And so sometimes it does make more sense to go FHA. It just kind of depends on how the numbers pan out because
Yeah.
every situation is different. This is like, I love this industry because it's so specific, but it's full of customers that want a broad brush, and it just doesn't work like that. It's
No.
very much tailored to who you are.
Yeah, what it can help, definitely what it can help is if you are sub 620 now and you're in the condo market. Maybe it was a divorce situation. Maybe you're just at that age where you're like, hey, you know what? I don't want to cut grass. I don't want to deal with that, the maintenance. I'm just going to get a condo. But shoot, I have to find something FHA because I'm 605 and I'm FHA only. So now hey, 605, you can use condo as an opportunity. Maybe you have the money. Maybe you have money in the 401k or saved up. So the condo market will be better because of this. But besides the condo market, I really couldn't think of a situation. And we have to wait and to see what the PMI companies are going to allow and do. And so, I have been, I'm the old man on the totem pole. I remember I did the 500 credit score, 10% down condo deal. I mean, that was 2005, 2007, somewhere around there.
Before the real rules were put in
Yeah,
place.
yeah. I was in the Wild Wild West. I know how to get down, but and ironically, that deal was a condo. So I'm very familiar with those situations. But but besides that, yeah, the condo market will definitely have a spike up. More people can qualify, and if they're leaning towards condo, that'll be an opening. And that's sometimes condos and townhomes seem to be affordable housing. Um,
More and more, right?
man, man.
Um, and so once again, negative Nelly. I'm not a huge fan of condos, but that's because I'm not a huge fan of sharing walls with people. It's my own thing. And HOAs, like, ugh. But I am loving the land of detached condos. So
Mm,
I roll there, right? But you're right. The condos, the what look like townhouses, they're all becoming like
that
the
is affordable housing.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
affordable housing.
Yeah, it's crazy. I had a conversation last night with a client. She got referred to me, and she's on a salary. She's
Hmm.
making what is it? She's making about $60,000 a year. Okay,
Okay.
so I'm making $60,000 a year. I'm on a salary. She's renting a condo right now. She's currently renting a condo right now, and so she wants to buy a house. I want to buy a house. And one of the interesting parts of the conversation was, she didn't really even, how debt can just start consuming you and you don't even realize how much is there.
Hmm.
You kind of, what is that? What is that? A flamingo that puts their head in the sand? What is the bird that puts the head in the sand and not really even know?
I don't think it's the flamingo. We're gonna, I'm gonna
Yes,
find out.
please, please. I'm not good in my animal theories, but anyway,
That's
the
okay.
the ant the animal that puts the head in the sand, um, she didn't really know how much consumer debt she had, and it amassed up to $12,000. She owed about 12 grand in credit card debt,
Hmm.
and so we talked about how we have to pay that off in order to expand and create more purchasing power. And it was interesting in the western suburbs of Illinois or Chicagoland area. So Chicago is this big conglomerate, and we have kind of a south part, north, and west. East, you're in the lake, so you can't go east, but you're going to go
Which
west.
lake?
So
Which lake is that?
Lake Michigan, Lake Michigan.
Hey.
Okay, okay, very funny. I see the correlation, Michigan.
Mm.
So she wants to stay in the west suburbs, and so I'm using the tools that we have, and there was nothing under $225,000. There was
I
one
want
property, one property,
one. What did it look like?
3 bed, 1 bath, and it was
Uh-huh.
kind of like just I don't know.
Did it have a roof and a floor?
It did have a roof. I did not look at the pictures, but literally in the western suburbs, you couldn't find anything under 225.
I
And
believe
so
that.
and so I was like, "Hey, you're gonna have to pay all this stuff off, you know, and then once you pay that stuff off, then you're gonna have to take then you have to start paying yourself to build back up everything that you just paid 12 grand, and you're gonna need that another 12,000 so you can buy a place."
And people
And
are so discouraged when you have to tell them that they have to take their hard-earned savings and pay the bills that they weren't paying.
correct.
It's heartbreaking, but it's
That's the
the only
first step.
way. Yeah, it's the only way to do it.
Well, you know what I did? I offered. I was like, "Well, hey, you can get a cosigner," and she was an independent woman, so she wasn't. What? Another person? No, no option. She gave me that's not an option. I am not. I'm not going to cosign with anybody.
Would you would you ask somebody to co-sign on a few $100,000 for you?
I asked my mom at one time, way long time ago, like, "Mom, I'm out," and then she gave me the. if God doesn't want you to have it, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. Thanks, mom.
Listen, yeah, and that's probably like the only person because your spouse doesn't count, right?
No.
Um, it's student loans. My mom was like, "I'm not taking that parent loan. Are you crazy?" I was like, okay, I'll figure it out. But I
Yep.
get it. I get
I
it.
get it. I get it. Hey, I grew up with tough love, so I
Exactly.
appreciate
Yeah.
that. It's made me. I have to figure it out. Like I
Right.
can't rely on anybody. No one's gonna come knocking at my door. No one's gonna be like, "Here's a check," and and balance my budget. Like it's all on me. So I do appreciate it, but it is harsh at the time. Like,
At the
dang, mom,
time, yeah.
dang, it'd be so
Eh,
simple. I've seen all
right.
these other people do it. Why can't you just help?
Because you're
Certain
not thankful for it till over a
no.
decade later.
No. And then you're like, yeah, I figured this out. I did this. You know what I mean? So you do get that bravado that comes upon you of like, yeah, I was able to maneuver and I made it. It makes the story even better.
Hmm.
It makes the story better. But, at the time frame, I was like, dang, mom, she's so mean. Can't help me. I need some help. But and that's the reality. That's the harsh reality about this. But it's just it is interesting, as a buyer, and just feeling I can see where the a sense of doubt. Is this even for me? This is, it's a crazy situation. Doing obviously well at her job, and the thing is that money erodes every year,
Hmm.
and you have to be offensive minded of how to create more income coming into a household, especially if you're going to try to do a solo dolo. If you're going to be by
Right.
yourself, you're going to have to find ways to generate income consistently because even 60,000 in the Chicagoland area, that's not enough.
When you said 60,000, I did the math in my head with no debt, and mm, that's gonna be rough. Because even in the worst parts of Detroit, it's hard to find a house under 200,000 right now,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And
And
I'm not gonna rant about that because
okay,
that'd take us all the way back to 2019. But
all right, negative Nancy.
it
They
the it's a whole thing.
the next part about it is the fact that just the concept that we have to find ways to qualify, but it's going to take a longer period of time. So we want to get people to come to us first. Let's get this pre-approval process so we can go through it. We recognize, hey, step one, pay off your debt. Step two, replenish everything that you just used to pay off this debt in
Right.
order for us now to move forward. So there's a process that has to be put in place. And that's what we have to do, and that's what we have to do to try to make it happen. So I thought that was interesting. But yeah, we definitely talked about the 50-year mortgage. We definitely talked about this no minimum credit score. Have you also heard the newest thing I got? I sent out an email on it. It was about credit scores.
Yes. Wait, TV timeout. One,
TV timeout.
the the bird thing, it's technically a myth, but you're thinking of an ostrich.
Ostrich.
Yes.
Thank you.
Secondly, I love that you talked about playing the offensive because in life these days there's so many we just wake up on defense.
Yes.
Playing offense is very important. I didn't want that to get brushed over because you make a very good point. Credit scores. Yes. Okay. So I have been a credit expert on paper officially stamped since 2013,
Go ahead.
right? Bow, 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 bow. But now, okay, this Vantage score thing,
Hmm.
I'm very curious about how this is going to go. I'm not going to be negative about it, but I'm also not going to cheerlead it. I want to see how this is going to go because people don't even know what it is. They know that they see it on their apps when they look at their scores. Sometimes when I ask a borrower, "Hey, what's your credit score?" 8. That's not it. That's not the one I was looking for. But I see I see what you did there. And it's the Vantage score. So this is going to be very interesting. Do you have any thoughts around it?
Yeah, no doubt. I actually, on a plug, I did a monologue that's coming out this Friday on credit scores and the Vantage score. So make sure people check that out on
Nice.
Friday. Should be interesting to see what people think about it. But, overall, the Vantage score is more of a story than it is a picture.
Hmm.
When we pull your credit, for everyone out there, when we pull your credit score, we're taking a picture of where you are today, right? So today is November 12th, 2025. I'm taking a picture, a snapshot, and I'm seeing everything that is today, what has been reported, what has been updated, everything as of today. When I do a Vantage score, it tells me more about a story. It has the ability to use trended data. And so it can track over the last 2 years of what you've been doing. So I could look at your Visa card and I could see that your Visa card maybe was $4,000 in 2023. And I can see now that your Visa card is $9,000. And that trending upward would potentially suggest that you are struggling with consumer debt, that you are, actually getting worse. And therefore your score could be affected, and vice versa. If I see your in 2023 your credit balance was $9,000, and I see that you've been working and doing diligently to pay it down to $4,000, now you may see the boost of a credit score increase based upon the trended data that I can start seeing. Oh, you are managing your debt better. You're chopping the tree down. And that is something that we really have never had. We've never had the ability to really look at someone and then judge them for the whole body of work.
That's a really good perspective. Because when
Thank
I think
you.
about how the Vantage score versus the FICO score is broken down, right? Like the FICO, you get a pie chart and you can literally carve out the percentages. The Vantage score is a little different, and
There
it
is
is
still a pie chart. There's
there's
still a little,
yeah, it's
yeah,
like 20, 40, what is
right.
it? Payment history, 40%, and with FICO it's like 35. Credit utilization,
Yes.
20%, right? But then when you get to length of credit history, new credit, inquiries, and credit mix, which a lot of people don't know about the credit mix, but I like talking about it. I don't think those have been broken down into like a
Right.
percentage yet, which I don't know if that's a terrible thing.
No, no,
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
know?
Yeah, because I don't think it's we got to get rid of that urban legend like, oh, if Jess pulls my credit, my score is going to go down. Like we got to get rid of that. Like that shouldn't be a thing. Like we want you to be a consumer that's looking, deciding on who you want to work with, and it's okay.
It is nice that let's see, that was circa 2011, maybe 12, where the rule came out that you could rate shop for a car or a house within a certain period of time. So you get your credit pulled 100 times and it only counts as one.
Yeah,
There
that would.
there's it no one has really knows what window to use. I hear 45 days, I hear 30 days, I hear 7 days. I tell people 14 because if you're shopping outside of that window, you're getting completely different pricing anyway.
Right. Yeah, it is one of those things. It's one of those things right now that I think, well, first and foremost, these are everything that we're talking about today. The only thing that's really taken effect is the credit score. There is going to be no minimum on conventional next week.
Right.
Everything else, the 50 years, just a hypothetical that was brought out to see, what traction, what people would say to it. And even the conversation right now about credit scores and are we going to use FICO 8 or we supposedly this is the projection that they would hope to happen. And there is talk about implementation of this probably within a year's time. Right. So in a year's time from today, that a loan officer pulling your credit would have the opportunity to either use FICO 8 or Vantage 4.0. That he would have the ability, he or she would have the ability to determine which one to go with. You know,
Ooh, so are lenders
yes.
going to be able to choose? Like lender A, I want to go with FICO, and lender B, we're using Vantage. Is that
If,
how it's going to go?
if you're going to pay, if you're going to pay for the data and the information, yes.
Oh,
It's the expansion of, and once again, this all goes to my conspiracy theory of way back to what we originated with, that since real estate is the backbone of the economy and we have a let's say 40% population of homeowners that are not going to buy or sell a house anymore. They're going to just stay with their 2 or 3%. We have to create a whole new population of people that are buyers. Now, this brings a little fear in the world because we remember 2007. Are these people, because supposedly Vantage Score, if they see that trended data, if they see that kind of, hey, you're doing okay over a course of time, you may qualify. When you on FICO, you don't qualify.
Right.
So here you go. As a loan officer, here's a great opportunity. I got 2 credit scores. Okay, it works with Vantage Score, but it doesn't work with FICO. I'm riding with Vantage Score, and we're going to get a deal done. And we're going to have to see over time. Hey, is one better than the other? Is one bringing more, a risk?
Right.
Has the risk been mitigated better on FICO than it is mitigated on Vantage Score? That's the part we just don't know, but we would have to wait to see how people are going to handle the opportunity of, hey, we're going to give you a shot. You're going to be able to become a buyer.
I mean, we got what 60% of the country to play with. Is 40% of all owner-occupied homes don't have a mortgage anymore. They're free and clear.
Free and clear.
Yeah, so it's over 30 million people.
Yeah. No, it's a great opportunity. And I'll do one up on you on this one, and don't fall down. All right. And I know your jaw is going to drop when I say this.
Okay.
But guess how much money a Vantage Score credit report costs today?
Do tell.
$10.50.
Yo, let's go with the Vantage Score.
Let's
Get out of here,
go.
FICO.
Let's go.
With your $120 reports. Get
How
out of
crazy
here.
is that?
Right?
Yes.
And that makes me happy because I didn't even
$10.50.
get that far as to think about like, oh, how much is this gonna cost? Because like credit reports 2 years ago were what, $50? And now
50.
they're north of 100, which is
Yes.
insane.
Insane.
It's a cost to us, it's a cost to the borrower. Like credit reports are so expensive now that I have had to tell people, hey, if you're not serious about this, let's not do it yet. Because I gotta absorb this cost. You can be at $500 in credit reports in a week.
Yes. I mean, once again, $100 a pop on a credit report. You want to help 10 people, and you pull their credit. That's $1,000.
That's $1,000
That's a
with
$1,000.
no intent to proceed.
And just let it be known, because I did have to take a peek after I was doing some of the math of the $10.50. I've pulled 392 apps this year.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
392.
392 on the button, baby.
I rather, yeah.
So I understand about the cost. I understand about the cost of doing business, but it is, you will get my attention on a Vantage Score for $10.50.
Absolutely.
But obviously the fight is, FICO has a stronghold on the position that they have with lenders,
Hmm.
and they're not just going to give up and say, "Oh, sure." So I mean, the push
Do
has to be
they?
there.
Or were they just the only option?
Are you, as a lender, going to take a risk on an unproven system that could give you a 20% increase in foreclosures? That's the
Is
overall decision.
I know that sounds insane, but if you had asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd say absolutely not. Today, yeah, some of them rolling the dice.
Some are going to roll the dice because there's not enough buyers out there. I mean, the
Hmm.
harsh reality, no matter how successful, one individual may be versus the other, the harsh reality, there's not enough for everyone. The term abundance may not be there for everyone. So that is the concept that, hey, if a lender is like, hey, I think we could get some more buyers if we can start using that Vantage Score, once they open up the gates, then it's game time. But we have to wait for them. So obviously it's out there right now. I mean, Vantage Score is available, but no lender is using a Vantage Score to move
Right.
forward and approve you. So we have to wait on the lenders to integrate Vantage Score as an option for loan officers.
The two big boys, the real big ones, are probably doing a beta group right now.
Sure.
So I'm very curious about what they come back with.
Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for it. I'm hoping.
Yeah, man. Like let's go.
Yeah, that's huge. So hey, let's do housekeeping notes. This episode today is sponsored by Epic Mortgage. Whether you're buying, investing, or refinancing, call Epic 708-905-5300. And we have Jess, your contact information.
Jess's contact information is going in the chat today.
Yay.
Yeah, I decided you guys probably don't want to write down a phone number all the time. But if you do, 313-673-6108, you can email me at mortgage@jfordcorp.com. And you can find me on Instagram under jford_consulting. But my link tree, everything you want to know about Jess Ford has been posted in the YouTube chat. So
Outstanding. It's so important. Jess has joined forces with us. She is our Michigan love that we have out there, and she's doing her thing out in Michigan. So definitely, and licensed in Florida as well. Let me not forget that. So if you are out there in Michigan or Florida needing assistance, definitely reach out to Jess. If you need assistance in Illinois, Indiana, Colorado, Georgia, Texas, Virginia, Maryland, we got you. We got you. Just give us a call, 708-905-5300. Now, after the show, once the show is over, if you're on LinkedIn or if you're on Facebook, definitely go ahead and check out our YouTube channel, Epic Spotlight. And also, too, for me, if you could go to YouTube and just give us a like, give us a like. Let us know that this is the type of conversation that you like to hear and want to know about. So definitely give us a like. Definitely subscribe to the channel. We appreciate you. We're on that journey to 10,000. But, 10,000 is the first step to going in that direction. But our milestone would be 5,000. So if you can help us get to 5,000, that's super cool. And then we'll have to do something super fun once we get to 10,000. But after the show, I want you to check out our most recent Epic Spotlight interview. The interview was with David Prescott and Michael Ashley. They're the authors of Creative Destruction, as they reveal explosive insights on how ESG policies could erode your retirement, stifle business innovation, undermine American energy, and boost China's AI dominance. Discover the global risks, secret agendas, and how individuals and businesses can fight back. Don't miss the eye-opening discussion that I had with David Prescott and Michael Ashley. It was very informative. It was not really in my quote-unquote space, my arena, and so I was able to kind of get in there, learn some things that I did not know. And that's the beauty of podcasting. Sometimes it's not about, I don't know, some people obviously, money, but overall it's about what you can learn and meeting people and just having more insight just to make you well-rounded. So appreciate them and appreciate that conversation. Now, we do have some preferred listings. Now, every preferred listing is on my website, DanteRoyster.com. And since Jess did that, I'll do that. That's so cool.
yeah,
That's a great
I
idea.
was about to do it for you.
Super
Also,
cool.
you're a good listener. Like, you know how to actively listen. You're a very good listener. You don't always have to be the one in the room with the spotlight. See what I did there on them, which is huge. Like that's big. That's a big deal.
I appreciate that. I took a gander at the podcast on the business category on Apple, and we're ranked like 140th.
You know what? For how saturated our business is, that's not bad at all.
I'll take it. Right. I don't know what that means, but I was like, okay, someone's listening to it, so we appreciate it. I mean, we try to have great conversations. The whole concept was love, happiness, health, and wealth. Happiness is obviously something internal, and how can we, be happy with ourselves? Love is obviously external and feeling appreciated. Wealth is obviously, money in the pocket and resources that you have. And then, health, nothing matters if you don't have your health, right? Would you want to be bedridden for the rest of your life and have, $50 million? Probably not. You probably,
what's the point?
What's the point? So health is so important. And, really, those are 4 topics that I got really interested in during the pandemic. The pandemic, just I was searching for those things on health, wealth, love, and happiness. And so I bring it to you as any topics, that I'm going to talk about are going to fall in one of those realms. And that's why I had the conversation with them talking about ESG and businesses and how they're being stifled and their point of view. And I just thought it was a good conversation. And we're doing that every week. So next week we'll have tomorrow actually a new podcast will be coming out. So hopefully you guys like that, and we'll keep it going. But I appreciate everyone listening to that. And then let's go with the preferred listings. Once again, you can go to the website to actually see pictures of these, but I'm just going to point out 14926 Kenton Avenue in Midlothian, Illinois. It's going for $339,940. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath. Contact Sebastian Kupiec 773-430-8988. We have 4634 Deepwood Court in Bowie, Maryland, 3-bed, 2-bath, going for $367,500. Contact Phil Dyson 443-280-1842. We have 2602 Hummingbird Lane in Humble, Texas. It's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 284-444. Contact CJ Jones at 281-356-0203. And we have 12673 Sin Bay Court, Jacksonville, Florida. It's a 4-bed, 3-bath, new construction, going for $375,000. Contact Charday Nix 904-520-8041. We have other preferred listings. Definitely go to our website, check it out. And let's get to some questions. Appreciate everyone. Great. Okay. Appreciate that. No, I appreciate you, giving us all that information. Just hang in there. Hang in there. And any advice on my Roth IRA and investments, really can't comment on Roth IRAs and investments too tough. But I would say, seek a financial advisor. Do you think most buyers realize how costly rate chasing really is?
Oh, I am so glad this came up. In a word, no. No, they do not. Dante, you and I were talking about this, and
Oh, yeah.
this is okay. So just long of the short of it is obsessing over finding the absolute lowest rate can have so many negative impacts on a home buyer, and largely due to the risk of just delaying the purchase and losing focus on the bigger picture. The rate is the wrong metric to focus on. Hyper focusing on the rate distracts from the overall financial viability of the home, property taxes, insurance, HOA, maintenance costs. By time you're done, by time you get to a lower rate, the market has fallen. The house costs more because the people in that neighborhood, let's say you're stuck on a certain neighborhood or a certain city, those people aren't going to stop buying and selling. And
Right.
what we've seen since, thankfully, since 2009 is everything just has been trending up. They're just focusing on the wrong thing.
No, you're right. Opportunity costs are a major thing that people, and it's funny too that sometimes the rate thing is so overrated, right? Because some of these people like, oh, that rate seems high, and then what I always do is I'll give them a rate 1 point lower because they want to hear fives or they want to hear fours. It only saves you $150.
I
Like,
do the
you know what I
math.
mean?
Yep,
It's not a $500 difference. Like, I'm not going to take you from 2,100 down to $1,400. It's
right.
not that big of a swing. So sometimes it's just a mechanism that has been permeated through our culture to ask mortgage people, "Oh, what's the rate? Oh, what's your rate?" They don't even know what they're looking for. How about,
They
can you get
that,
it done? Just, can you
that
close this
question,
deal? And then
when
how
someone
long?
calls me and says, "What's your rate?" I know, okay, we're about to go through an entire lesson because they just don't know. But
No.
people don't know what they don't know as well, but they also don't ask.
Interesting. How can first-time buyers avoid waiting for the perfect rate trap?
Oh,
Thanks, Brad.
I like that one too.
What do you think?
So One, start by calling a professional. Um, call a loan officer, right? Call me, call Dante. Um, don't go to social media. Don't go to TikTok for these answers. Also, if you are a person that goes to social media for these answers, double check those people's NMLS numbers because I am finding that a whole lot of people claiming to be professionals are not. Always check the NMLS number. But avoiding the waiting thing is more, I think it's more emotional than strategic. And when you really think about what you're waiting for, right? Waiting is going to have some drawbacks. Negative, what is called negative rate saving. So essentially, you're looking for that lower rate, but again, the home's purchase price has gone up. Reduced affordability. If prices rise enough, even with the lower rate, your total monthly payment is going to be higher had you purchased a little sooner at a higher rate and plan to refinance. And then you've also got increased competition and lost opportunities. So let's say rates do go down. Okay, well, now you have to think about bidding wars. You have to, maybe you're risking losing the dream home. All that time you wasted, you could have been building equity. So I think avoiding the perfect rate trap is more so about making a strategic decision versus an emotional decision.
Great answer. Next question. Justin Dante always deliver pure gold. Thank you for the wisdom. Appreciate that,
Hey,
Antonio.
high
Or
five.
Antoine. My bad. My bad, Antoine. High five. Yeah, air five. There you go. Next one. What's the smartest way to act when rates keep fluctuating?
Oh, I had this problem the other day. Oh, it's okay. The best thing to do is look at the trends. So, if that means you have to call your loan officer every day and say, "Hey, what's the pricing? What's the pricing?" So, pick a rate, right? Pick one. Let's say it's 6.25. Track the pricing of that one rate. The other ones will fluctuate along with it, but track the pricing of that one rate. If it's trending up every day, lock it as soon as possible. If it's up and down, have your loan officer figure out the pros and cons of waiting on that rate to really drop. It kind of depends on what's going on in the market, but waiting too long will get you.
I like what you said right there because I was saying this earlier today. We got to be teammates. We got to work together. There's too much of this combative nature between a consumer and their loan officer. Like we're on the same team. Like we have 50 different lenders. We could
Right,
access over 274 different banks and lenders out there. So you really don't need to like shop me with somebody else. Let's just work
right.
together for the common goal. And so, where do you need to be, and how much do you want to pay for it? And let's just work together and get there. There's so many people that want to play this game of like, oh well, Chuck is saying this, and that, hey, be careful, be careful. I've been doing this for 2 decades, and I think you may want to know some of the things that are up in this noodle, but you just wanted to run for an eighth of a point because Chuck said he could do it today. Be careful, and
Peop- People go with what they want to hear, right? Like I said, what was it last week? We're from the tell them what they want to hear generations.
yeah.
Um, so, and you're right, we're a team. Any new realtor that I end up working with because maybe the borrower brought them, I'll call them and go, "So we're a team now." And I just stop and they're like, "Okay. Okay, great. Excellent. Here are defined roles."
There you go. The realtor that always spurs me just had a deal close in ATL, Georgia, and the realtor like would send out these emails of like putting me on blast a little bit of like, well, what's status of this guy? You can't call me or just individual. Oh, I
Right.
just want to make sure everyone in no, man, that's not how we play that.
Yeah,
We're on
no.
this side. We're gonna all work together as a team. Kumbaya. Yeah, now some of that people are not familiar with that. And it's like, yes, this is a team sport. Realtor, loan officer, customer, let's work as a team, make this the best experience for the client, at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting to me. Next one. How do you help clients shift their mindset from fear to action?
I um I treat them like a person with a life and things to lose. So I like to really get to know my clients. Like my goal is to be your mortgage consultant for life. So you're not telling I don't want you to have to tell your life story to six different loan officers over the years. I also want to be able to help you create a strategy. And it's hard to do that if I am not in the mix the entire time. So I like to get to know my clients. I want to, what is your fear? Why are we afraid? Kids, aging parents, what in your life is driving that fear? Once I have an understanding of where your mind is and what you're going through as a human, as a person with things to lose, you're not just a loan number, then we just go from there.
I was thinking about your hair.
Because I don't have on a hat. This one
No,
curl is
no,
really bothering me.
no,
It's all I've been looking at.
no. I'm thinking about like a hairdresser. Nail.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, I don't do either of those things unless I need a trim.
Doctor.
But I see, yes, okay, friend, I've
Come
had
on.
the same doctor since I was 18,
I would
you know?
imagine it gets a little personal, and
Right.
you
You
want to
stick
go to that
together.
same. Yeah. So I mean, I really have always felt like that. Like I'm a financial doctor, quote unquote,
Mm-hmm.
right? My job is to help you with this service, and this is a big ordeal because this is a milestone. Right? America has kind of set up certain milestones in everyone's lives. Now, you don't have to do them, right? That's the freedom that you have. But for
Right.
most, the 69% average people of homeowners will do is, hey, let me be that person for the rest of your life. You don't have to go anywhere else. You don't have to turn, I know Frank could probably just do it like Dante, but hey, Dante's been there from day one. Let him be there at day 360. And repeat clients always, tell me that, hey, we must be doing something good because they come back,
Because they
you
come
know,
back. Yep.
because they come back. So yeah, that's great. Great wisdom by both of you. Appreciate that, John.
Thanks, John.
John, John is a cool guy. Appreciate John. I miss the Wild West days. It was so exciting to work in those days.
It was not exciting to live after those days. I will tell you that as a millennial, thanks.
The Wild Wild West days were real. I appreciate that, Dennis. I know who you are, so I appreciate that. Yeah, they were some crazy times. I wish I knew
Yeah.
what I knew now back then. OMG. That's
I
all I
wish
gotta say.
my good human talk had been around back then.
Man, I don't even know if they would have listened. Now
They
they're
wouldn't
listening.
have.
They would have been like, well, what is she talking about?
They would not have.
Man. How do you balance patience with the need to act fast in real estate? That's tough. You want to
Mm,
tackle that one? Because
I
that's
mean,
that's
I have
tough.
the patience of Job just as a human overall.
Hmm.
I'm extremely patient. And so I think that, okay, so I am not a person to panic. Um, Even like, let's say you're in the car, something crazy happens. I'm not a panicker. Um, so I feel like I'm going to, no, I take that back. I know I am going to make a better decision if I'm thinking clearly and I'm not worried about rushing or beating the clock. Do I need to be aware of that clock? Yeah, because 2 weeks ago, rates changed six times in one day,
Yeah.
right? That's not a normal thing. But if I'm rushing, I'm going to screw something up. And ultimately,
Even worse.
right, because it's going to fall to the client. Ultimately, the borrower is the one who's impacted the most. I messed up one loan. This is their life. Like, it's not okay. So being patient is just personally is part of it's one of my characteristics.
That's awesome. It is hard for me, no doubt, because I like to be busy. I like to go with speed, and I end up putting a lot more on my plate than I would ever anticipate. But it is a thing in real estate. It's similar to stocks. Because rates fluctuate every day based on the market. And I like what you said earlier, and that's something I'm. Hey, tell me what rate we're trying. Where's the target? and then let's focus on that each and every day so we can land the plane and hit where you want to be at. And that's a good idea that we should start to do it. And we're kind of doing that when we see refinances, right? Refinances. Generally in the Midwest, refinances are November through March, right? It's a reset. Hey, this year didn't go out as well as I planned. I racked up a lot of debt. I need to clean up. Or, hey, I got these ideas. I'm going to be an investor next year. I need the down payment. So, we see a lot of cash out refinances and debt consolidations right now, from a November to March perspective, because frankly, it's so cold outside and people don't really want to be out there unless you have to.
Yeah.
Like, man, it's chilly. So
48 degrees outside right now. This is the high for the day.
yeah, it was pretty bad. But no, we're warming up actually. It's supposed to be a balmy high 60 tomorrow. Watch out. What's your take on the new no credit score conventional loans? Well, it's not necessarily a no credit score. I want to make sure it's just no minimum credit.
Yeah, there's no minimum score.
Yeah, so it's kind of a wait and see. We're still kind of in the waiting line to kind of see how this is going to play out. Are we talking about 20% down for a 580 score with a conventional loan? Because right now, PMI has not, suggested that they would consider, helping out, where people are putting 5% or 10% down. So,
which is why we're seeing so much of the conversation online be about the 20% down payment. I haven't seen or heard any conversations around the minimum down payments.
Correct. So if you're a 580 credit score, just the probability, it's not that many people that do have 20% down. And if they do, it's coming from a sale of a home, and so
inheritance.
And
those are things that are
divorce.
Timing. Yeah, exactly. Those are coincidental timing.
Right.
It's not something that just goes all the time.
Yeah, so I don't think it's a macro per se, big deal. It will micro help certain situations out, and and those people can take advantage of them. And like we said earlier, I think the sector that it'll really impact potentially are condos and what we deem as affordable housing. Condo market will probably get some more buyers that can afford that with that type of money down.
But circle back and ask us again in 30 to 45 days.
Well, it's sometimes I don't like even talking about this convo because nothing has happened yet.
Yeah,
but
it's not a real thing yet.
It's not a real thing. It's not been voted in. It's not been implemented whatsoever. We do know the minimum credit score for conventional is being implemented over the weekend. It will be available next week. But for right now, with no PMI assistance, it's 20% down, right? So, if you're a 580 and you want to buy a condo and, you're a 580 score, okay, great. 605, okay, great. But we'll wait and see how this, develops over time. And I guess that's always the good thing about real estate. Every year is a different year.
Right.
We'll just have to wait and see.
We also have to consider overlays. So for those of you that don't know what overlays are, the new conventional, right? Fannie Mae, those are the rules. Think of them as federal law. And then you've got your overlays. Every lender has overlays, which means it's their house rules. Just because Fannie Mae has taken away the credit score requirement doesn't mean that the lenders are going to follow suit necessarily either.
Sure.
They have an option.
Sure. So it's really a wait and see. It's a wait and see. But we did it. We did an hour. That was quick.
That was quick. Oh, yeah, that was fun.
That was fun. I hope to see you again.
We have such a good audience.
We did.
Great questions. Absolutely love it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, really appreciate the audience. Thank you for listening. We had, I think, close to like 430 people listening to us today. So that's super cool.
Nice.
So this is it for the week. It's Monday through Wednesday, 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Central Time, 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern. We'll be back next week with new guests. We'll try to get Jess on the board so we can see.
I'm feeling like Wednesdays are my day.
Jess is Wednesdays, even better. So I can just slot you right in for next Wednesday. So we'll see Jess back next Wednesday, and we'll take it from there.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. Have a great weekend.